Hi, I'm John with Orange Lockworks, and one of our forum members, Ninja Waffle, recently posted some videos about having a priming problem, which made me open up a bunch of shells to try to find that problem. We didn't solve his particular problem, but we did discover something about the Recons that have that large bolt sled lock. Some people are having problems with those as well, where you'll prime, and it feels like you've hit a wall, and if you really force it, you can get it to prime just fine. I mean, it's actually not that hard, just like that. And you'll get about 99% of the way, and then it just feels like it won't go any further. And that's due to an extra bit of plastic down there. How it should work is with the 6 kg spring. It is much more difficult to prime, but as you prime, it'll just lock back. And it's a little bit surprising when it does. There should be no like wall and then it locks. It just constant pressure and it locks back. So I'm going to open this one up and show you that bit of plastic that needs removing, and we'll take it from there. Alright guys, this is what you want to look out for. The bolt sleds we're having problems with are in this configuration. Notice the size of the lock and this little shelf right here compared to what most Recons have. Well, the lock is out of this one. You can see the hole for the lock is much smaller and there's no shelf. The pin can just slide over that instead of getting caught right there. And what you want to do for your shell, this is what most of you have and what most Recons are sold as. Where the top of the bolt sled touches is completely flat, and this serves to push down on that small lock. So when you prime and you finish your prime, the lock pops up and catches right here, so you can't re-prime the gun once it's primed until you fire and the plunger comes and then pushes down on that lock and then lets you prime again. In this Recon, notice the large gap here for that larger lock to pass through, and then this piece of plastic right here forces that large lock down. So this lock, that'll focus, once it comes into contact with this piece of plastic, gets snapped down like that and stays down, unlike the more common locks. And when you bring the charging handle forward, it hits on this piece of plastic and pops back up like that, and preventing you from double priming. So what you're going to want to do if you're having a priming issue with this type of Recon, it'll feel like you'll be able to prime it with not too much trouble, and then it will hit here and it feels like you've hit a wall. And to get, let me zoom out, to get it to prime, you basically have to just force it back to go over this piece of plastic. And that causes all sorts of problems, and with the 6 kilogram spring, it's hard enough to prime already for a lot of people. And that just, it makes you think you've gone as far back as possible, when in reality you haven't gone far enough back to engage the trigger catch. So you will get about this far, hit that wall, let go, and everything slams forward. But you have to get about, you'll feel that wall, and then if you really push it, it'll pop over there and then lock back. But that's not very user-friendly. So I'm going to go over a quick fix, which will involve removing this piece of plastic here. Okay, and to fix this, if you choose to do so, because some people don't really mind that extra force required to prime, but if you choose to do it, the tools you're going to need are a pocket knife, or I recommend something like this, like an X-Acto knife or hobby knife. And if you're really good with a Dremel, you can attempt it with a small sanding drum or small cutting wheel. But I'd recommend going the manual route because it's much safer. You're not going to accidentally just grind out part of your shell. And I'm going to try to do this in front of the camera. And you're basically going to shave this down one layer at a time, kind of like you're whittling away. And it shouldn't take a lot of force because the plastic is pretty easy to cut, and you're just going to go gradually, one layer at a time. If it feels like it's taking a lot of force, just stop and back the blade out and try a new cut, because you don't want to like put a lot of pressure and then have it slip and cut yourself, so be careful. And it may take a dozen or so swipes with the razor blade or hobby knife or pocket knife, whatever you choose. Obviously a Dremel will be faster, but if you slip, you're going to go right through your shell. The plastic is pretty thin here. Okay, let me clean that up real quick. And you can comb on the inside, and if you have any shavings left, just try and pop them out. You don't want to leave any plastic bits in your shell because they won't really get in the way of anything, but it's kind of annoying hearing them rattle around. And there we go. And there you have it. So I'm going to go put this back together and give it a few primes. There's a close-up. Focus. You can see that it's now flush. We removed that piece of plastic that was hanging down. And I'll be right back. Okay, here's the first Recon that I demonstrated at the beginning of the video, and it primes pretty easily. This is one I just modified. All the screws are together. And it primes just as easily as the other one. You don't hit a wall anymore. There it goes. Okay, so if you're having this problem, give this mod a try and it should take care of it for you. And thanks for watching.